Over the years, as the audience has heard my increasing exasperation with how strong and instant takes have gotten, okay? And I really don't know how you can have a very strong opinion on Malik Willis, but I am seeing a great deal of very strong opinion on both sides on the Dolphins getting Malik Willis.
It's hope.
That's part of it. It's also encouraging that they actually have a plan. Yesterday, 24 hours ago on this show, when I was saying I thought that Malik Willis was where it is that this was headed after they waived Tua, you had mentioned that people were talking about Arizona as his favorite destination. They have the better skill players. Tua ends up in Atlanta now. They have the better skill players. But the opinions on Malik Willis range from Chase Daniels saying, quote, Malik Willis is worth it all for the Dolphins.
He was on his tip.
The film is so much better than you think. Timing, touch, and anticipation. Mina Kimes says he's got a cannon, incredible dual threat quarterback. Incredible is very strong. But here's Dominique Foxworth on the other side of this.
This isn't the best option out there, but of the available options, it seems like he's going to have a legitimate, chance to prove himself. The problem is this team feels to be obviously in a rebuild, and they're hampered by, the big dead money on the Tua contract, and he's going to be limited. This team is going to be limited. The expectations are going to be a little low for this team, and the support that he enjoyed in Green Bay, when he had those few successful games over the past couple of years, that's not going to be there. We're not sure that Bobby Slowick is a good offensive coordinator. We haven't seen Waddle carry this offense alone. Achane, we know, is an explosive big play running back. The offensive line has issues. The defense has issues. And we started with the offensive coordinator. You have a first-time head coach. The offensive coordinator is unproven. The more I examine this situation, it might be the best that you're going to get if you only have a small sample size like Malik Willis.
Zaz, what is your opinion here?
I think they went from super boring and definitely going to be terrible next year to very interesting. The Dolphin fan now every single week has something to watch, hoping that this guy is going to be their franchise quarterback and that they found a gem at a very good price. I mean, the Dolphin fan has never, Tannehill was able to run a little bit, but not like this. The Dolphin fan has never witnessed a dual threat quarterback. They've never had the guy who can run and make the fun, explosive plays.
You had Snoop Huntley for a little bit.
Okay, what are you doing there? But
Fiedler was sneaky.
Pat White would like a word.
But the other side of it for me is, man, I thought this front office was going to be a little bit patient with this rebuild. This is not patient at all. This is very impatient.
No, I don't think this is impatient because they're in handcuffs, right? You can say it's a good contract because it's essentially 2 years, $45 million. You can get out from under it if it's a mistake. But you're paying for the quarterback position next year about $90 million because you've got so much dead cap money in Tua. And because of that dead cap money, you have to align it so that if this is a mistake 2 years from now, you're okay.
That's a good point.
You have to get someone cheap because you're paying a lot. You're paying at quarterback more than the Chiefs are paying Mahomes by a good amount because you've got two quarterbacks that you're paying a lot next year. And in a salary cap sport, while he represents only Malik Willis represents only 7% of your salary cap, which is where you'd love to have a great quarterback at value, the amount you're paying Tua makes it so that this front office is in handcuffs. And this is the best of the available options. I would have preferred Kyler Murray, but a guy coming into a system with people that he knows is something that does create that hope you're talking about. A couple of things that I want to point out, though. He couldn't beat out Will Levis in his first 2 years at Tennessee. He only had 92 dropbacks in Tennessee and was terrible in Tennessee. Couldn't beat out Levis. Now, people are excited about Green Bay, but that's a conservative offense, okay? That's a run-heavy offense, and they had a good offensive line in Green Bay. So he was very good down the field. In terms of explosive plays, people have run the analytics and say if you take the sample from him in Green Bay and put it out over the entirety of a season, it's the best quarterback in the league because of how he throws the ball downfield accurately. But I just don't know how you can have very strong opinions for a first-time starter in year 5 who's taken all of 302 snaps in 5 years.
Loads of bad tape at Tennessee. And I was a huge Malik Willis guy when he was at Liberty. Touchdown connection with C.J. Daniels. Like, he was awesome at Liberty. And I thought he was going to be one of the best pro prospects. And he went in to the league, got opportunities with a bad Tennessee team, admittedly, and he straight up could not throw the ball. They did not trust him to throw the ball. Forget downfield. They didn't trust him to throw the ball 4 yards. And he was available for Green Bay on the cheap for a reason. And it took him a while in Green Bay.
I think they traded a 7th for him, right?
Yeah, it took him a minute in Green Bay, and he started because Jordan Love's been in and out a little bit, but last year was really encouraging and a testament to that being a development position, him learning the NFL a little bit, and those numbers downfield are really impressive. In terms of hope and the Dolphin fan perspective, you're really excited that they had a plan. They executed it quickly. You thought that this year would be a wasted year. No, you actually got one of the top 2 quarterbacks available. You have hope in the front office because they executed a plan and made Miami somehow desirable for a top 2 quarterback. And you have a big variable in Malik Willis that could go either way. Like, the ceiling's really high with him.
Are the Dolphins falling into a trap that Miami Heat does to other teams where they're like, we're going to develop this guy who's going to be really good for us, but then when you get to your team over there and you pay him a ton of money, he's not going to be that good, right? Like, are we worried that Green Bay's development system, and obviously they don't do free agents, they don't do trades, like they draft and they develop. Like, that's their MO. And it's like, is that happening with Malik Willis? We're going to get here, he has none of the skill players around him, like, oh, who is this guy?
I really like the point you made about, Dan, about the timeline with essentially it's a 2-year contract. It matches up with the 2 years that the Dolphins
It's really limiting the position that this management team is in as janitorial workers trying to clean up this particular thing.
But it lines up with the 2 years that they're at a major cap deficit because of Tua, and then you can kind of either then you have multiple options. Like right now, the only option would have been, hey, hopefully next year we get a good draft pick. Now you'll have 2 options. Either you like Malik Willis or you'll decide to eventually go into the draft. There's not a lot of precedent for a quarterback who, for 4 years, has been a backup, extremely small. It's not like he got 6-8 games.
Recent precedent, because this used to be how quarterbacks looked all the time at the beginning. It'd be the most normal thing in the world for a quarterback to have to wait 5 years
That's a lot.
to learn the position. But the way that he looked in Tennessee is how my experience with young quarterbacks before the last 7 years has always been. And I also think something that's interesting here is, and another bad position that this management team inherits, the single greatest advantage that you can have in that sport since Russell Wilson was winning the championship in Seattle is you get a good quarterback cheap so that you could build the rest of your team. This is the opposite of that. Not because of Malik Willis, but because of their quarterback situation. They've got a ton of dead money tied in not being able to know whether they still have a quarterback or not. That's usually something that will shackle the entirety of your franchise. You kind of need him to be great, and there's nothing to suggest that he's got the help needed on offense to be great.